The neon signs of Neo-Shanghai flickered against the perpetual twilight, casting serpentine shadows across the rain-slicked streets. In the year 2287, Earth had become a nexus of interspecies commerce, where dragons from the celestial rings worked alongside humans, their ancient magic now harnessed for industrial purposes. Maya stood in the alley behind the Quantum Forge factory, her iridescent scales dulled by exhaustion and malnutrition. Once, her kind had ruled the skies of distant worlds, breathing starfire and bending reality itself. Now, she was just another laborer in the city's endless machine, her magic drained daily to power the fusion cores that kept humanity's empire running. "Please, Manager Chen," Maya's voice cracked, her massive form hunched to fit in the narrow space between buildings. "It's been 3 cycles. I only need my wages. My children haven't eaten." The human manager, a portly man with cybernetic eyes that glowed an icy blue, sneered from behind his protective barrier. "Your contract clearly states payment is processed quarterly. You dragons always think you deserve special treatment. Come back in 30 days. Maya's claws scraped against the concrete, leaving shallow grooves. Her maternal instincts screamed at her to unleash the fire that still burned somewhere deep within her chest, to reduce this cruel man to ash. But she knew the consequences. One act of violence and she'd be deported to the outer colonies, separated from her hatchlings forever, or worse, terminated under the Interspecies Violence Act. "They're only 3 months old," she whispered, her golden eyes dimming. "Please." "Not my problem, lizard. Now get out of here before I call security." From the mouth of the alley, a voice cut through the rain. "That won't be necessary." William stepped into view, his worn leather jacket darkened by the downpour. He was unremarkable by most standards, a tall human with shaggy brown hair and tired green eyes that had seen too much of the city's cruelty. But there was something in his stance, a quiet determination that made Manager Chen's sneer falter. "This doesn't concern you, maintenance worker," Chen spat, recognizing William's uniform beneath the jacket. "Actually, it does." William pulled out a battered tablet, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "I've been tracking the factory's payment records. Maya here has worked 847 hours of overtime in the last 3 months. According to Section 7 of the Interspecies Labor Accord, overtime wages must be paid within 7 days of accrual." Chen's cybernetic eyes flickered, processing. "Those records are classified. How did you?" "Doesn't matter how." William's voice was steel wrapped in calm. "What matters is that you've been pocketing the difference. Maya's not the only one. 17 dragon workers, all mothers, all denied their overtime wages. That's not just contract violation. That's species-based discrimination and embezzlement." Maya's head lifted, hope kindling in her chest like the embers of her ancestral fire. Chen stepped forward, his hand moving toward the plasma pistol at his hip. "You're playing a dangerous game, human. Accidents happen in factories all the time, especially to troublemakers." William didn't flinch. "Go ahead, but I've already uploaded everything to the Interspecies Labor Commission and the Tribune, and about 40 worker advocacy groups across 3 systems. He smiled, cold and mirthless. "You pull that trigger and by morning this whole operation gets shut down. The Quantum Forge will be seized and you'll spend the next 20 years in a penal colony." The alley fell silent except for the drum of rain on metal and stone. Manager Chen's face cycled through several shades of red before settling on a sickly gray. His hand moved away from the weapon. "Fine," he hissed. "I'll process the payment, but you're fired, maintenance rat." "Worth it," William replied. Chen stormed back into the factory, leaving William and Maya alone in the rain. The dragon mother stared at this human who had risked everything for her children, for workers he'd never even met. "Why?" she asked, her voice barely audible above the storm. "Why would you sacrifice your position for us?" William looked up at her, meeting those ancient golden eyes. 6 years ago, my sister worked in a textile factory on Europa, She complained about the conditions, tried to organize the workers. She accidentally got locked in a cryogenic storage unit. His jaw tightened. She didn't make it out. I couldn't save her, but I can save someone else's sister, someone else's mother. Maya felt something warm and unfamiliar bloom in her chest, not the heat of dragon fire, but something gentler. Gratitude, connection. I am in your debt, William of humanity. No debt, he said softly. Just take care of your kids, that's enough. 20 minutes later, Maya's account chimed with an incoming transfer. 3 months of wages, plus overtime, plus what appeared to be a significant bonus that William had somehow extracted from the factory's accounts. It was enough to feed her hatchlings for half a year. She found William still standing in the rain, now unemployed, probably blacklisted from every factory in the district. "Come with me," she said. He looked up confused. "What?" "My dwelling is small but dry. You sacrificed much. Let me offer what little I have, shelter, food, and perhaps—" She paused, her scales shimmering with a hint of their former glory, "a partnership." "Partnership?" "I am a dragon of the celestial rings, William. My magic may be depleted by factory work, but I am not helpless. And you have something rarer than magic. You have courage and conscience." Her eyes gleamed. "This city devours the weak and rewards the corrupt, but together perhaps we can carve out something different." William considered this, rain streaming down his face. He thought about his sister, about the countless others crushed by the system's gears. He thought about Maya's children, hungry and waiting. "What did you have in mind?" Maya's mouth curved in what might have been a smile revealing rows of crystalline teeth. "You have skills with data and systems. I have knowledge of the old ways of magic and its applications. There are others like us, the exploited, the forgotten. What if we became their advocates, their protectors? Like some kind of underground justice network. If that's what humans call it. We dragons called it the balance keepers in the old tongue, those who ensure the powerful do not consume the powerless entirely." William extended his hand, a very human gesture. Maya carefully lowered her massive claw, and they shook, bridging the gap between species, between ancient and modern, between despair and hope. "I should warn you," William said with a slight smile. "I'm a terrible cook." Maya's laugh was like wind chimes made of stars. "Fortunately, I only need to breathe on food to prepare it, though I admit I'm running low on fire these days." "We'll work on that too." 3 months later, Manager Chen found himself arrested by Interspecies Labor Commission agents. The investigation William had triggered uncovered a network of corruption spanning 7 factories and 4 planets. 17 dragon mothers received their owed wages, plus damages. In a modest apartment in Neo-Shanghai's lower district, Maya's hatchlings, Zephyr and Ember, played with holographic toys while their mother's scales gradually regained their luster, nourished by proper food and the absence of soul-draining factory work. William sat at a battered desk, fielding messages from workers across the city who had heard whispers of someone who actually helped, who actually cared. His tablet glowed with cases of injustice, each one a chance to make things right. Maya settled beside him, her warmth better than any heater. "Another 16 cases today," she observed. 17. Just got one from the orbital stations. "Can we handle 17? William looked at the dragon mother who had become his partner, his friend, and the closest thing to family he'd had since losing his sister. He looked at the hatchlings who now had full bellies and bright futures. He thought about every worker they'd helped, every small victory against the crushing machinery of exploitation. "We'll figure it out," he said. "We always do." Outside, Neo-Shanghai glittered with false promises and real pain. But in one small apartment, a human and a dragon had built something the city's architects had never planned for, a sanctuary of justice, a partnership of hope, and proof that sometimes, when one person steps in, everything can change. The Balance Keepers had returned, reborn for a new age, and they were just getting started.